In-depth analysis and review of a winning trade on the IWM. Let's go.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is a in-depth analysis of a trade that was put on today on the IWM. This is, February 18th, Friday, 2022. Let's get into it. I know some people in the Discord room are wondering how this trade came to be. What is the thinking behind it? Why did I do it? Just simply, I think it helps to kind of see the lens, how I see the lens of trading versus others. And I'm glad to see K-Pod in here rocking and rolling. But let's get into it. So I posted this at, I don't know, what's the time frame on this? 10 a.m. That's 12. Yeah, 10 a.m. And I took a stab at 199, stopped 50 cents, expect to make $2 to $3 quickly. Well, it ended up being that we took those $2 pretty quickly. And it's a pretty simple trade. And so let's get into the charts. So, hey, pup, missed that guy. So the first thing I'm looking at is the VIX, and I'm always have this in the background, hence why I tell people there's a reason why I got a lot of screens. I need to see everything. Here was an old gap on the VIX that's always been important, 29 levels. Here's the downtrend. We got pretty close to it, so I'm watching that. The next thing I'm watching is the IWM. I know for a fact that we tend to break below the 20-day and close back over it. I'm looking at the action going, it's a Friday of OPEX, CHOPEX. Do I think there's going to be a monster breakdown on a Friday of OPEX? No, I don't. As many people, again, reading the Ukraine headlines seem to just jump deep bearish, thinking that every time they see that, the market's going to tank. Have to remember, since it's been bottoming, we were making technically potentially higher highs and higher lows since that regurgitation of the never-ending headline. So when I see that headline, the first thing I go is, well, this is bullshit. That's not happening. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of it all. As you could see on the daily, it looked like there was a floor, but this is where the hourly really came into play. So here's the volume at price zone. There's a lot of volume in here. And I'm watching the previous lows. Yeah, that's not necessarily as important as this test. So I'm using the 199 area. I see it hit that. I watched the first hour, and then I see this second hour retest. Then I see this third hour. So what I did is I started layering in. First stab, small. Second stab, a little bigger. Third stab, even bigger with a tight stop. And you go, why would you go bigger at the trade? Well, guess what? If the verification is easy to see visually that might be the bottom, then I take the trade. Again, that's why you layer in, because the first bottom is always toughest. Think about if you were using, say, the 200-day or the 200 hourly as support resistance. You got in here, and it closed back over it. And again, you can layer into trades. Picking the bottoms and the tops can be very difficult. If you sit here and been trading a couple years and you think you're some genius, well, guess what? You might be, but I like to let the market show it to me, especially on a scalp. The first bottom, I usually do maybe first bottoms on swing trades, selling options or longer term stuff, but on a scalp, I just set the alarms and know the prices, and then I just try not to overthink it. So again, you had one test, two tests, three tests, boom. It pops $2. We get around 199. It gets up to 201 and change. I'm taking my $2 and I'm letting the rest ride. Now, when I say I let the rest ride, my stop is my entry. I can't lose on this trade now. I've put $2 in my pocket. I will not be losing $2 on the rest of my trade. I'm going to set it at my entry. So it's really simple. What happens if this ends up ripping higher? Hey, might be up to 212, might be able to take 12, 13 points. What happens if it fails? I make $2. That's all you have to do. And now people go, what do you mean that's all you have to do? Yeah, that's all you have to do. Don't overthink it. I'm not sitting here watching it. And again, we talked about this in the Discord room, letting it play out. Just let it play out. You don't know the trade until you bet it, but if you overthink this stuff, I mean, you can convince yourself to short the pop, buy the dip every time. No, wait for the areas, because again, if this doesn't retest, I'm only in it once. And then it retests it twice, so I'm in it 2 times, then 3 times. I mean, that's just notice how the highs and the lows, I mean, every once in a while you get a V, but even you get a back test. Look at the hourly. I mean, I tell people they're always trading off the 10 minute and the 5 minute and all this bullshit. And I'm like, notice how the bottom here, you had 1, 2, 3 tests of the low. This one had 3 tests of the low. This had like hours of testing at the lows. Yeah, that was a V top. Missed that. Here's a choppy, sloppy bottom. You could have traded that as a reference. Here's a choppy high. I mean, trying to get people to start seeing the market for what it is, not what they want it to be. You know, ideally, again, everybody loves V tops, right? They want to be the first one there. They want to plant their flag. I do too. Trust me, I am just as guilty as anyone else at that. But I do know that when I'm trading, being early all in is the biggest mistake I can make, because if I go all in on my first entry, now I'm putting myself at risk of a bigger loss versus, hey, let's look at the hourly, for example, or the 10 minute, whatever you want to trade off. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. What levels am I watching, and are they confirming? Because if you think about this area now, in this little blue box, it's a tiny little area. Let's just open it up. It's very binary. If you fail here, it should go lower, right? It's that simple. If it holds here, it should go higher. I mean, and look what happened. It did go higher. Went to the 20 period moving average on the hourly, like to a T, and went boink. So I hope this kind of stuff helps. I mean, ultimately, like, trading is as hard as you want to make it. Do you want to do super complicated stuff? Do you want to keep it simple? I tell people, keep it simple, because if I can't wrap my head around the simplicity of things, I will make it complicated. Your brains are always looking for confirmation, and that confirmation bias is that if I buy something, I want it to go higher, and if I short something, I want it to go lower. Well, take the confirmation bias out and make this evidence based. Like, an evidence would be, you hold here, you go higher. You fail here, you go lower. Like, that simple supply, or the support equals resistance. I don't know what to tell you. If you think trading can be more than that, go right ahead. I mean, again, make it as difficult as you want. People notice, like, I don't do a ton of day trading, and when I do, I'll post it. But again, I still don't win as much as I do with swing trading. Like, the stuff that we call it in the bottoms on and all these materials names and metals, I mean, that's the bread and butter. But every once in a while, if something seems so obvious on a day trade, you can play it. I mean, we're talking, K-Pod was looking at the ES futures, and let's see if we can review that real quick, what happened there. I thought on the daily, let me start on the daily. I thought this Monday low, let me just draw it. And again, we're going to build this live, was going to break, if it broke, it would probably rally back on a Friday because of OPEX. I thought this was going to be a bear trap. Now, where did it ultimately go? Went to a pretty interesting level. If you go look at the hourly, you can see that when you draw the trend is your friend. You can draw it like that. You can draw it like this. I mean, whatever. I thought at some point we're at the low end of the range again, because even if you're on a downtrend, you should expect pops at some point. When we broke below these lows, I'm drawing all this on the fly, so just bear with me. Have patience, because it's worth it. Say that's the breakdown. What do you notice about the breakdown? Not really any volume, and this is the ES futures, just be aware. And so if you don't see a ton of volume on a breakdown, it might be a trap. And honestly, that's what I said. If you go look in the Discord room, we talked about this. I was like, I think this is a trap ultimately, because if you hold the trap, if this move is a trap down, don't be surprised if it bounced up. And it bounced up. He's doing really good on his trade. Golf clap for him. Kudos. But that's the kind of stuff you're looking for. So ultimately, I think if you have your brain wrapped around simplicity, it's easier to make trades. I mean, again, I don't know what the average person thinks, because my brain now is so rewired to try not to do what the average person's doing, but I still know that they probably, are shorting the lows versus, like, I'm waiting for highs to short. I just will not short continuation. And I know people say, oh, you could have missed out on this, but I know this always happens. I know there's always a rip back, or say the big move goes down big, and I know this is going to happen. There's going to be a rip back. Like, that's the mentality you have to have when it comes to trading. So if you're going to be shorting the market, be very careful. Buying the market, same thing, especially with the VIX. I mean, this video is going longer, but there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, ultimately, I don't think the VIX is going to be able to sustain the highs, and going into, at some point, like, there's this pennant here that's forming. I think at some point we will get back down to the low end of range. It typically does. The VIX does not stay elevated for a long period of times. It reloads, as I call it. Like, once you get a big spike, comes back down. Big spike, comes back down. Now we have a lower high. Be careful being bearish. That's all I'm going to say. This is the, again, if you like the stuff, please subscribe. Please smash a like button. If you got questions, come by the Discord room. This stuff isn't rocket science, but you want to make it rocket science, we can get deeper into it. It's just, I prefer to keep it that simple, because unless you can watch every single minute, you got a plant in your office so you can pee in it if you need to, and you can't, so you can, when you can't leave. That type of trading, we can talk about it, but I prefer not to do that anymore. All right, friends.
Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right, and also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.